Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 216.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday, we usually go live on Keto Beyond the Couch, because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
At this point, we can only laugh about this. So, yes, we are supposed to be doing this live. We like to do it live every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. But the internet's just not cooperating today.
No.
We had like 400 megabits per second download and 1 upload, and that's just not going to work on a live stream. So hopefully this doesn't take like 20 hours to actually upload now that we're pre-recording it.
You may be seeing this for the first time on Thursday.
I hope
we don't
not.
know.
So hopefully by Thursday our internet gets fixed. Hopefully by the time we're done recording this, our internet gets fixed so we can upload it. But yeah, if you're new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. We like to celebrate subscribers and answer questions and comments from the previous week. And speaking of the previous week, we are recovered from, going to KetoCon.
Yes, we've gotten some good rest and we got our electrolytes back up and we're feeling great.
Yeah, it was a good week. We got our work done, but it definitely took a couple days to kind of wind down from all of the excitement from being at KetoCon. And we got about a month now, 30 days until we head off on the low-carb cruise.
I think now we're picking out everything, even like the jewelry that we're doing is like all beachy. Because we're ready for the cruise.
Yeah, the other day we went to a pirate festival, and I got this nice cross, and the inside, it's not going to be easy for you guys to see it, but the white stuff in there, that's lionfish spines.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about seeing people take this invasive species and doing something. So we eat them, and then you could take their spines and do something useful with it.
It is repurposed, and I think that it's a good testimony for us. This entire channel was born out of pain, was born out of all of our past food mistakes and just kind of moving forward. And our pain, our mess has become our message, right? So I love seeing things repurposed, and this is a great example of that.
Yeah, so today's Keto Beyond the Couch is going to focus on subscribers, but you're going to see there's one clear message, and hopefully by the end of today's Keto Beyond the Couch, so hopefully you watch the entire thing, you're going to see that there's a theme to it.
Oh.
By accident. Really? I just pull comments. It's not like, oh, that fits in this week's theme. I pull comments from Facebook, from our Mighty Networks group, from the YouTube from last week, and at the end of the day, it always seems to be like, oh, there's a theme to that.
And I have not seen any of the comments.
No.
So I have no idea what we're going to be talking about.
Today's theme is going to talk about the thing that you need to do to be optimal on keto. If you want optimal health, you need to do this. And so you'll just kind of look for it as we go through, and you're going to see what we're talking about.
Okay.
We're going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This was an inspirational post I found over on our Mighty Networks group. Now, if you're new here, we have a community on Mighty Networks. You can join that at members.twocrazyketos.com. It is completely free. Now, some people do want to support us financially so we can go to conferences and run the channel. It is not cheap to run this channel. And we don't do Patreon anymore. We do it through Mighty Networks. So there are $5, $10, and $25 levels there. But you're absolutely not obligated to do that. The Mighty Networks group itself is completely free. So head on over to members.twocrazyketos.com and join our community. And this one came from Donna.
Hey, Donna.
Donna said, motivation keeps you going, but discipline keeps you growing. You will never always be motivated, so you must learn to be disciplined.
Oh my gracious, Donna. Today's a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Right? I will tell you, I am motivated by getting to chat with everybody to do Keto Beyond the Couch, right? Every single Monday, and in particular, a Monday like this, where it's the first day of a month, that's highly motivating, right? I couldn't wait to be here and to celebrate subscribers. And when you have obstacle over obstacle like happen, like we did this morning, it really does burn through your motivation pretty quickly. And discipline has to be there to kick in.
Yeah.
You have to have discipline, and you just have to have a consistency in you that you're like, I am going to do what is right, whether or not I'm necessarily still motivated to do what is right.
Let's jump into our first subscriber of the week. This was an inspirational post, somebody's success story that we found on Facebook, and we should say all the time, please share your story. Your story is so important for two reasons. Number one, it's going to help you remember where you came from. When you hit the plateau that we talked about on last week's Keto Beyond the Couch and what we talked about when we were at KetoCon, you're going to hit a plateau.
Yeah.
And it's going to be frustrating. But when you share your story, you have something that you can look at and look back on and go, oh, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was. So it helps you remember that. But more importantly, your story helps inspire other people, because I know we don't think this, but there is somebody else out there going through what you've gone through or what you're currently going through, and they think they're alone. They think nobody else gets it. Nobody else has ever experienced this. And when you share your story, somebody is going to see that and be like, oh, wait, I'm not alone. There's people here that can help me. There's people here that are going to get me through this. And because they did it, I know I can do it too. And that's why it's so important to share your story. So please, please, please share your story. The first one we have is from Karen.
Hey, Karen.
Karen said, keto might be the fountain of youth. I was going through old Facebook photos and sent the photo on the left to my bestie pictured below. He replied back saying, I actually look younger now than I did back then.
Wow.
The photo was taken in 2009. The photo on the right was taken last weekend. 14 years difference, and I'm looking younger. I keep telling everybody else in the group that they're aging backwards, but maybe I am too.
Aw. Oh my goodness.
You're absolutely aging backwards.
Karen, you think? Oh my gracious. That is incredible.
Would it be bad if I said that your current self looks like your former self's daughter?
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, it's bad if I say that?
No, well, I mean, probably, but no, but it is true.
Right? Her current self looks like her former self's daughter.
You look absolutely amazing. And Karen, you are so edifying and so encouraging of other people. I'm really glad that you took a look at your own photos, because sometimes it is a little bit easier to notice the changes in others, and we don't know the changes in ourselves. And I'm really glad that your friend also helped notice what you were maybe not noticing, because you're seeing yourself every day and you don't see a progress picture that is like, you know, that comes across that way. So I'm really thankful for these like Facebook memory reminders.
Now that brings up another good point, along with sharing your story. Pictures.
Yeah.
You need to take pictures. The scale, throw that out. It's not nearly as helpful as pictures. When you take these pictures and you go, oh my gosh.
Right.
Wow, like I look good, right?
I mean, you're mostly seeing, like in this particular thing, I don't see Karen's weight. I see Karen.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you what, Karen, keto is working. Yeah. I do not need a scale to verify that. You look like you're totally aging backwards. Amazing.
Next one is from Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Debbie said, this might sound silly. I've been trying to walk more, but I wanted some strength building exercises too.
Good.
We've been building a fence. I've been on the ground crawling and scooting and adding chicken wire to rein in our chickens. The raccoons have been stealing chicken food at night, so every night I go cover the food with a trash can and then place a cinder block on top and taking it down each morning. So I squat, I lift, and then I lift it 5 times before putting it on top. Functional fitness.
Yeah.
That sucker is heavy for an old gal, but I thought about Rachel saying just be deliberate.
Yay!
Make more trips to unload groceries. I park further out in the parking lot. I walk circles here at home. I'm just trying to be more aware and keep moving.
Wow. Oh, Debbie, wow. You look so fantastic, girl. And I'm telling you, you're doing exactly what we have said. And I love the fact that you are getting exercise in, but you're also using exercise to help you get done the things you need to do. I mean, you've got this stinker of a raccoon coming and stealing, you know, your chicken food. You got to protect those chicken babies. I know that. I feel that. And this is a great way to protect them, but also get exercise in for yourself.
Yeah, it's what we call functional fitness. You don't need to go to the gym for 2 hours a day.
No.
You can if you want to. Make sure you're doing resistance training over cardio. If you want to do a little bit of cardio, it's great for your heart. It's great for helping with your breathing, but it's not going to help you long-term losing and maintaining your weight. But functional fitness, just doing things every day that help you to work your different muscles, is going to really help your body keep going. And just on a side note, it kind of goes back to Karen thing. Like, she looks younger.
You look absolutely phenomenal. And I was thinking that if you were to put me into a gym and you'd say, I need you to like crawl on the ground, I need you to lift this, I need you to do squats, I'm like, I'm not excited about it. But if you're like, Rachel, you need to protect the babies in the backyard, I'm like, okay, where do I go? I will do whatever. I will crawl over things, crawl under things. I mean, just like you, like I will protect the chickens.
One more. It's from Dawn.
Hey, Dawn.
Dawn said, non-scale victory for me today. In 2017, I went to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic with my family.
Wow.
We chose to take a hike up on a waterfall excursion. I struggled to hike up the mountain. I had to make my family wait while I tried to recover. Now in 2023, 80 pounds left and much more active, I was able to make this hike without any difficulty. And the entire time I kept thinking how Joe and Rachel keep saying how this way of living gives us the freedom to get off the couch.
Yes.
Other people will never understand what an accomplishment this is, but it brought me to tears thinking about how I have changed my life.
Dawn, if no one else understands this, I understand it. I get it. But I am going to tell you, there are more people that understand it than you realize. I think about how happy my mom was when we recently went on a family trip, and you have all these, young people, and then you have us, and then you have her, and she's like, I'm step for step with everyone. No one's waiting on me. I'm not a burden in any way. We're enjoying this all together at the same moment. And that really is such a blessing, just to be able to keep up and to enjoy yourself while you do it.
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with some of the comments. We have one from Mima.
Hey, Mima.
Said, I shared with the group today that my boyfriend basically gave me an ultimatum. Either I stop keto carnivore or he is going out the door.
Bye.
Now I've been on this journey for so long. It's been a few months. I love the way I feel. I have so much energy. It's amazing. My heart is broken that I've had to make this ultimatum.
Wow.
I'm not going back.
Good for you.
So I said, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Yes, I'm sad, but I'm strong. And I appreciate everything that Joe and Rachel do for us, because my keto family and keto family, I would have no support. So for that, I thank you all.
Mima, I am so thankful that you did not prevent yourself from going through a door in confidence and strength, and actually opening yourself up to the possibility of a relationship that actually supports you. I mean, we are on marriage 2.0. So sometimes you have to walk out that door. Not to each other, but I'm just saying, like, we are a blended family. So at some point, we had to make the decision in both of our marriages that we have to walk out. Like, this has to end. And it was hard. It's hard to do that sometimes, but it does present an opportunity for you to enjoy your life alone, because there are way worse things than being alone. And it also opens up the opportunity for you to find somebody in the future that's going to support you.
Yeah. So I don't want to sound mean, but here's my thing. I'm curious what his reasoning for saying you have to go off of keto if you want to stay with me. Right. I'm curious, what is his is this out of a place of love? Probably not.
Jealousy?
It's to me, it's probably, I don't want to eat that way, and I don't like seeing you eat that way because, like, it's not fair, whatever it may be. It's too difficult to be with you. To me, I'm going to say, well, goodbye, right? And I think that's what happens is when we have people in our lives who don't agree with us, it's not so much out of concern.
No.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm so concerned. Your cholesterol is going to go up. You shouldn't eat this way. You're going to have a heart attack. If they were coming from there, I could possibly understand it, and then we can maybe educate them a little bit.
We'll talk through it.
But I think a lot of times that this kind of a statement comes from, I don't want to get healthy, and I'm not going to be in a place where you're healthy and I'm not.
Right.
And so if he's in that place, you don't want him anyway.
Yeah, do they even care about you? And I think about that even with friendships sometimes, if there's something that and it can not just be like eating, right? Maybe you've decided I'm going to quit smoking or I'm going to quit drinking or something. And you may have friend groups or people groups who are like, hey, this is what we do together. Certainly there was a time in our marriage where like we enabled one another to just like eat like a whole dumpster of just junky food. Mm-hmm. And we had to be at that point in our relationship where we were like, okay, we're going to have to do Saturday night different, and be willing to do that, but a true friend is going to say, I want you to better your life. And if you're making that decision to do something differently to get your health in a better space, like I support you in that. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily have to eat the same way that we do.
No.
And you can still, there's lots of couples that one person's doing keto and one's not, and they're still a happy, functioning, couple.
Yeah.
But when you get into this situation, it's just like, you have to take care of you first. You have to take care of you first, and you've only got you in the end, right?
Yeah.
You got you and God.
I'm almost like happy that this presented itself, because like I would rather know now that this is not an unconditionally loving situation than to like invest more years to only come to the same fork in the road.
But you know what? You've got this, and you're going to continue to get healthy, and then you're going to find somebody amazing who's going to support you in all of your different endeavors. Next one we have is from Nimad.
Hey Nimad, I recently watched a few older videos to follow your recipes, and they help so much when I'm trying to stay on plan. I also saw your how you got past your stall video and have started skipping breakfast a few days a week if I'm not hungry, and then I get a few 18-6 fasting days in. I make sure I get element and water in the mornings when I don't have breakfast. Not as hard as I imagined it would be. Thanks for all you do.
Yeah, I love that. We think about the fact that, oh my gosh, skipping breakfast. When you come from the standard American diet, that seems like preposterous, right?
Right.
But the more you get fat adapted, the more you eat on this lifestyle, and you give your body a chance to tell you what it needs, the easier it is. And I remember the first time I saw a video going, maybe you shouldn't eat 3 meals a day. I was like, well, that's stupid. Right? What do you mean? I mean, I grew up where you eat 3 meals a day plus 2 or 3 snacks. I mean, Jenny Craig. I remember when I was on Jenny Craig. And talk about a scam. Like I have a lifetime membership for Jenny Craig. Does anybody else have a lifetime membership for Jenny Craig?
You're extra.
I had a lifetime membership, and you go in and you buy all this food, and they're like, oh, wait a second. These are your just 3 entrees. But you still need to buy more food. So I'm like, wait a second, I'm spending $200 a week on food with you, and you're telling me that I still need to, in addition to the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and dessert that you're telling me I have to eat, I have to add more food during breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you also have to have 2 snacks, which you have to buy during the day. That's what I come from, like 6 meals a day, basically, or 6 eating times a day. So when I first heard like, oh, you may only need to eat once or twice, that sounded like that's just never going to work, and it's very difficult, but you find it's very, very easy.
Well, it was funny. I did not do well with us having a set time for eating every day. So like for when we first got started, we did kind of like skip breakfast. We chose not to eat until 2 p.m. I still don't know where we pulled that number out of our butt. But 2 p.m. and that I didn't like. That felt very rigid.
Right.
But the fact that now I'm asking myself, are you full? Are you hungry? I can ask myself that every morning, and the answer is different every morning, which makes sense because we have different energy expenditures every single day, right? So some days I wake up and I want a hearty breakfast, and some days I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. So I like having that dialogue with myself.
Next one we have is from, I'm not going to pronounce this. I'll screw it up.
Love the plateau analogies. I really want to get there now, but coming to terms that it took me 50 years to get here. I'm learning on this new journey and need to remember, stay the course and reflect at the higher elevations. Bless you and your message. Yeah, that was something that we really wanted to get across because people are so frustrated by a plateau that they don't see that a plateau still like represents elevation.
You're better than where you were.
Yeah. So some people kind of have a response, and me included, I'm preaching to the choir over here, that a plateau is like no success has been had. Well, that's not true. I can't look back and say, well, I've lost 100 pounds, but I'm going to act like nothing has happened because I haven't seen the last 30 pounds move yet.
Well, last week I mentioned, when you climb Mount Everest, right? If you want to climb Mount Everest, it's a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
And a lot of money, $200,000 to climb Mount Everest, right? But you land, then you take this little charter flight over, and then you've got a 2-week trek to get acclimated, and then you're at base camp, where you stay at base camp for a while. And you're higher than you were before, right? And the gentleman who it was a documentary about, he was trying to be the oldest American to ever climb Mount Everest. I think he was 68 years old. He ended up having some issues. He tried to go up, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not ready for this," and he had to go back down. And then he had to stay there for a while and make the decision of where am I going to go. But he was still higher than where he was. Now, it turned out he couldn't make the trek because that year a whole bunch of Sherpas ended up getting injured in a collapse of the ice falls. But he was still higher. He still had an accomplishment that he had never done before.
And it's more of an accomplishment than most people have ever done in their lives, right? Like he had still accomplished something I've never been able to do, right? Whatever elevation that he reached, even at the end, not being able to get all the way to the top of his plans, he still has surpassed other people. So it's really important to have that proper mindset and not just be wallowing on like how short you've fallen from your expectations at this point.
Next one is from Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
She said, "Yep, cortisol raises blood glucose.
Yep.
It's what's behind what's known as the dawn effect, as your body naturally produces cortisol in readiness for getting out of bed in the morning. So, of course, stress in general will raise glucose for the same reason." Yes. This is the biggest thing when it comes to glucose. We look at what we're eating, but we fail to, many times, look at where was our sleep. And also, are we stressed with something? I guarantee you, this morning, as we attempted the live stream 3 different times, if I would have checked my glucose, now I'm not currently wearing my CGM, but if I would have checked my glucose, I guarantee it was probably over 150.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. Because I was so stressed. I was sweating. Yeah. I was so upset because we really wanted to get Keto Beyond the Couch out and we wanted to do it live. And those stressors are going to raise your cortisol. The thing is we need to learn how to deal with it and how to help that. But it is something that we need. You do, some stress is good. Stress keeps you alive. Scuba diving, right?
Is a stressor.
Is a stressor. It's a good stressor. And as a rescue diver, I've learned how you have to recognize when somebody's panicking and help to calm them down. And here's the thing, is that panic breeds panic. So as I'm a rescue person, I was out diving with someone last week, and he was starting to get a little panicky because he was blowing through his air. I had like 2,500 PSI left in my tank, and he was already down to 1,000. So, he was panicking. He wanted to try to stretch it for me. And I'm like, no, but I've got to be calm to keep him calm.
Right.
But the thing is that having that little bit of stress also keeps me alive underwater, right? It keeps me from panicking because that's what our body does. It's like, hey, good stress, like fear of a lion eating me, that's not necessarily a bad stress.
So you're going to have good stress in life. You're going to have bad stress that you're going to need to have to deal with and
You got to
face.
balance them though.
You're also going to have stress of the unexpected. Stress that this isn't bad planning. This is just it happened and there's nothing that you could do about it. If you are trying to not eat well and then have all these stressors on top of it, that's when you're really in the danger zone. So as much as it's like, yes, we experienced a big strike in, or a big spike in in cortisol this morning, it wasn't on top of an inflammatory diet.
Right.
Thank you, Lord. If there's any reason to stay consistent, there you go. Because you're not going to be able to control all of the stress in your life, but you can control what you put into your mouth.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, the dawn phenomenon, that's good. You want the dawn phenomenon.
Right.
You want something to get you out of bed. You want something that if there is a megalodon chasing you underwater,
I hope never.
You can swim away,
Woo!
right? If a lion is chasing you, you want to get out of the way.
Yeah.
So that is where it is good. We just have to learn how to manage it and not allow us to stay stressed all the time. Let's take another quick fade to black and come back with the rest of the comments.
This is going to be a great week.
It is.
I am just believing that.
First one is from Marilyn.
Hey, Marilyn. I think it was that after listening to Joe and Rachel talk about the changes they made to get the fat dropping again, that a light came on for me and I started changing some things as well. It seems those thoughts and ideas were in my head, but I didn't get the fire to do anything until I saw that video. I've since lost about 3 pounds and down 4 inches. Wow, 4 inches is fantastic. I'll take that for a good start. I said to someone today that we are too quick to go to giving up rather than changing up. That's so good, Marilyn. What I've been doing isn't profound or earth-shattering. I've just been stopping and analyzing if I'm truly hungry before I eat. It clicked with me that sometimes I was using food as a procrastination tool. When I don't want to do something I need to do, I'll do that right after lunch.
Right.
I was also forming the habit of eating early, telling myself I'll also stop eating early and not have dinner, but then I'd have dinner. When I get the idea to go eat, I step back, review, and I often go another couple hours or more because I know it's not hunger, it is something else. Wow.
That's awesome. And that's what we talk about all the time is if you say, I'm hungry, wait at least a half hour. Then you'll know, is it really hunger or was it a stressor?
Wow.
Was it emotions?
This is a personal conversation that Marilyn has had with Marilyn, and you have got to have this personal conversation with you. These are the types of conversations that we have with ourselves where we really find out what's truly working for us. And I will tell you, a wonderful side effect of triple B and E was that I finally figured out when was actually full. I had always wanted to know when was full. My issue was I also needed to know what was hungry. You never really learn hunger when you're on some of these fad diets that we've been on in the past. Like we were talking with Jenny Craig. You got 6 meals a day. I don't know what hungry feels like.
I can tell you for sure, it's been a long time since Jenny Craig, like more than 15 years since the last time I bought a Jenny Craig meal. But I can tell you there were a lot of times that I was not hungry, but they're like, you have to eat or you're going to slow down your metabolism because you need to eat every 2 hours.
You were just topping off.
Right.
It's not really productive. It'd literally be like you're starting with 3/4 of a gas tank and you're starting, your drive to work and you're stopping at every single gas station getting 1 gallon of gas so that you're full by the time you arrive at work.
All it's going to do is make it take longer.
I mean, it's just going to make it take longer. So finding out when you're full is awesome, and I needed that. But starting in November, I decided I could also work with what is hungry.
Yeah.
What does hungry mean? I don't have to be afraid of hungry either because we have food in the house. When hunger arises, we will handle it with food. It's kind of like you guys have a training in your dive where you have to feel for a second what it would feel like if he completely turns the air off.
Yeah, so one of the things that they'll do with new open water students, and we saw a video of somebody doing this completely wrong. Like in fact, the video was worst dive instructor ever. But one of the things that they will do with you, very controlled, is the instructor will stay right here. Okay, so the valve for your air is right here. And the instructor will stay right here. And we say, okay, Rachel, here's what's going to happen. I want you to look at your gauge. I'm going to turn off your air. when you feel that you're running out of air, I want you to give the signal, I'm out of air. By the time you've given your signal, I'm going to have your air back on. But I want you to see the gauge goes down. What does it feel like? So you know, okay, and it's not like I want you to experience drowning. It is, you want to know when that tank starts going low, you can feel it so you know, oh, wait, I'm losing air. Because when you lose air as a scuba diver, it's not take a breath and then it's gone.
Right.
It gets harder and harder and harder because you've got the pressure in the tank going into a lower pressure thing. So it's not like you have a breath in the tank and then the breath is gone. You have a breath and then it's a harder breath and then it's a harder breath. So you usually have about 5 breaths. So you're going to recognize it. But you want to at least be able to recognize this is what's going on. And it's the same thing when it comes to our eating.
And you're doing this questioning in a safe environment.
Yeah, it's in a pool in 3 feet of water.
And you're determining full and hungry in a safe environment. If you are mostly eating meat, you don't have a lot of confusion. If you have a high carbohydrate diet, you're confused a lot. Carbohydrates confuse your mind. Could I eat more? Am I still hungry? I don't know. But in the safety of the proper human diet, you can not be confused by hunger signals and full signals.
Well, it's funny when you say you're not confused. So here's the funny thing. If you ever go on YouTube where you watch people and they're like, okay, the out of air signal, I'm out of air. If you're out of air, if your body is really hungry, your body is not going to go, hey, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Your body's going, I'm out of air, right? And you're going to grab, right? And so when you're truly hungry, your body is going to be telling you, you're hungry, you need food. It's not going to be like, hey, I want a snack.
Right.
This, I'm hungry.
Yeah, exactly. That is such a great point. And that's something that hopefully people can bring with them into the week. It's like this right here is dandruff. That is not, I'm hungry. It's like, I could have a little something, something. No, hunger is like, get me to the food. And then that's why you also want to have good meat prepared for when you're hungry. You can go reach for that. Because again, when you're actually hungry, you're going to go grab it. Well, what are you going to have to grab? Right. If you've got inflammatory ingredients to grab, you're going to put that in your mouth hole, right? So you want to have meal prep ready for you to grab.
Yeah. And again, if you wait the 30 minutes, that's the air thing again.
Yeah.
So 30 minutes, air got turned off. Okay. So I'm hungry. Turn off your air. 30 minutes later, that's your last breath. And then you go, yep, I'm definitely hungry.
Actually hungry.
Okay, next one is from Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Non-scale victory. I walked up 2 flights of stairs in my home with no pain and no need to hold on to the rail. This may seem like something small for some.
No.
But it is a victory for me, and I'm going to celebrate it.
Kathy, I am so glad you are. This is your home. You have to live here. You have to interact with this home every single day. If you're hurting and uncomfortable in your home, how will your home ever be a sanctuary to you? Right. Which is what it needs to be. How are you going to be able to utilize all of the spaces in your home? I think about how my mom used to have a 2-floor home, and she used to get absolutely aggravated for paying for the air conditioning when they weren't utilizing the upstairs very much, because she tried to eliminate, at that time, she wasn't keto, and she was trying to avoid going up the stairs even, right? Because it was really hard and painful and also seemingly dangerous for her to go up and down it. So no, that is no small victory. That is awesome.
And this again goes back to when we say share your story. Your story doesn't have to be I lost 100 pounds. It doesn't. It could be this. I can walk up my stairs now. That is a victory. And I love seeing stories of I lost 40, 50, 100 pounds, but I love seeing these stories.
Because what are you going to do with it?
These things that I couldn't do yesterday, but I can do today. I went a week without sugar. I mean, those are all things that we need to share because, again, there's somebody else out there right now going, I just want to be able to walk up my stairs.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Next one is from Susan.
Hey, Susan. Keto, you people, these groups, families are saving my life. I am slowly weaning myself out of the Weight Watchers mentality. I am a lifetime member since 2011. It's all I've ever known. Just putting that out there because I know there is no judgment here. Keto, uber low carb has changed my mindset, changed my body, changed my mood, changed me for the better. I am 57 years young, maintaining my weight better than I have in years. My clothes fit great. My energy is off the chart. I just cannot thank you enough. Wow. I mean, Susan, we can't thank you enough. We're so glad that you're here and you're giving people hope that if they are coming from that diet mentality, like so many of us have, we can move forward. We can completely change things. This is way different than Weight Watchers, right? I mean, last year I even got the Weight Watchers app and I tried to make it
unsuccessfully
work for keto and get my blue dot because I really wanted my blue dot. But I couldn't make it work and it was so frustrating. So I'm so glad that you're here. Hey, I was a fellow lifetime member myself and we're really thankful for you.
Next one is from Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Terry said a non-scale victory for me after a significant head injury 16 and a half months ago. Yesterday, I graduated from brain injury rehab.
Yay.
With a lot of prayer and work and definitely continuing a ketogenic lifestyle, I've come so far. God is good. I was able to alone make the flight with a layover to KetoCon as well as drive round trip Austin, Houston to visit family. I only had minimal post-TBI symptoms during the conference, and I have a plan for the remaining recovery still needed. I have so much to be thankful for.
I have so much to be thankful for because I have a friend in Terry. You are such a tremendous blessing. I'm so glad that you came, and your journey has been amazing. And talk about somebody who is consistent, who is diligent, who is determined to see health all the way to the end. Like I am so inspired by you, Terry, and I'm really, really thankful to be your friend.
Next one is from Jody.
Hey, Jody.
Where do I start if I'm new to keto? There's a lot of information. I've listened to podcasts 29 through
231?
231. No, it's 2023.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why that I linked it is there, but it's somehow copied and pasted wrong. Okay, where do you start on keto? We have several videos, but I'm going to give this really quickly in case somebody new is watching this, okay? What you want to do is in the first 2 or 3 weeks, you're not going to count calories. You're not going to count fat. You're going to eat as much as you want. Try to eat 2 or 3 meals, but if you need to eat more meals a day, that's fine. The only thing you're going to focus on is no bread, no pasta, no starchy vegetables, no sugar, no grains.
No rice.
So, yeah, well, those are starches.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Right? So, none of that stuff.
Yes.
You can eat all of the meat. You can eat all of the fat. You can eat all of the green leafy vegetables you want. If you want to eat 5 cups of salad a day, go ahead. Just, I would avoid the tomatoes, especially in the beginning, and avoid the onions, potatoes, rice, all that stuff, and no sugar for about 2 weeks. Just get used to not eating that. Giving up the bread and the sugar, that is hard enough.
It's huge.
Once you get yourself there for a couple weeks, then we can start looking at how much should you eat and trying to eat only 2 or 3 meals. But we have several videos about this. I will leave a link for the playlist down below. But that is the easiest place to start, is just eliminate the sugar, the pasta, the breads, the grains, the starches. Next one is from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. My health goal just got a major boost today. I typically walk at about 3.5 miles an hour. Well, today I realized that it's also a jogging speed. So my 45-minute walk today ended up with half of it being a jog.
Wow.
Way to go, Sarah. I loved running as a teenager, and it feels amazing to get some of that back today. It's like the clock, like you're actually feeling like the clock turning backwards.
Right.
That is amazing.
Well, look at when I went and did my swim test for Dive Master, right? I mean, I outswam the other people who were doing it.
Yeah.
And, and I went into that thinking, am I going to be able to finish? Am I going to be, because it was under a time constriction, right? Am I going to be able to finish? And I did it in like one of the fastest times, but I didn't think I would be able to do that. And I certainly wouldn't have been able to do that 5 years ago.
It starts with asking yourself, can I at least try?
Yeah.
Like it probably started for Sarah like that. Like, I think maybe if this is a jogging speed, could I go ahead and start moving in that way? And you just do it. So like you were afraid, you weren't sure the result would be, but you signed up.
You know what the funny part about that is I remember when I was doing it, I was concerned because I said to Hugh, who is my instructor, and I said, should I be practicing for this? He's like, no, you got this. He's never seen me swim other than with fins on in the ocean, just swimming to the boat and being underwater. Well, it's not the same thing. He had more confidence in me being able to do it than I had in myself.
Community.
Right?
You need community because you need somebody else, not just the voices in your head, to answer the question, can I do this?
Yeah.
Because usually we don't have that belief for ourselves.
Next one is from Uncle Big Guy.
Uncle Big Guy.
Week 3 on No Eating Tuesday. It works for me.
I like it.
With me posting keeps me accountable only to myself and maybe help others. When I started, even skipping breakfast was impossible. I had to push it to a small meal at 9:30 a.m. for a couple of months before going to Nimad. Weight is not the goal. Health is. With that said, going from 336 pounds to 200 pounds and then back up to 240 for the last 2 years hasn't made me happy. I'm an OMAD during the weekdays and weekends maybe 2MAD. However, I've realized that even eating this way, I wasn't listening to my body. I hope everybody hears that.
Wow.
Just because you do an OMAD doesn't mean it's necessarily light, because he wasn't listening to his body. Many times I was eating just to eat. I knew this, and looking deep, being a new resurgence on my path. I would like to be 200 pounds again, but I'm working on the visceral fat, which is more important and healthier. Listen to your body and do not follow my path. Learn what you need.
Wow. We've got some people having
You're hired.
Some conversations with themselves and figuring out what works for them. And not just what works for them, but is what I have been doing that was working in the past still working.
Right.
Right? Because you have to be tweaking things every now and then. And I'm not talking about week after week. That's not a proper way to tweak things. I'm talking about survey, this time last year, were you doing better than you were this year? Maybe it's time to tweak things. I love the fact that we could get a DEXA scan and it's been 9 months. 9 months felt like a good time to check in and see, okay, are we headed in the right direction?
Yeah. Next one we have is from Dustin.
I was very excited to hear about Joe and Rachel finding a CGM provider that will work with the community. I'm looking forward to hearing more. Also, while watching Indigo Nilly's Day 3 update, her and Lindsay Murphy were able to get the continuous ketone monitors, which is what I'm using here today.
Okay, so 2 things. I'm going to leave a link for the company for the CGM down below. We're going to be doing some testing with this week, but it's really cool. Basically, what's going to happen is you become a tester.
Right. For the CGM.
Yeah, right.
This is a CKM.
So with the CGM, you basically pay $39 for a consultation. It's kind of like for them to write you a prescription. And you're going to become a tester where you can test different foods and log into an app. And my understanding is that their eventual goal is to have a thing where you can go into a grocery store and scan a product and see what does that do to the average person's glucose. So you're going to pay $39 for the prescription kind of program each month, and then they call in a prescription and you pay $70 for a Freestyle Libre 3 for the month.
Wow.
And then if you can do it for 3 months and 6 months, and the price goes down a little bit as far as the $39 a month prescription thing. But we're really, really excited about it. But I'll leave a link down below, but you might want to wait until we've kind of done a video for it, but it is out there for people. What's cool about it is they actually are going to ask you what kind of diet are you eating? Are you eating keto or paleo? Because they want to have all of these different data points. It's almost like a Dave Feldman taking information, so being a citizen scientist kind of thing.
And you need this because how can you present new information to change the way people do things unless we have these data points to present?
Now, as far as the CKM, the continuous ketone monitor, Rachel's wearing one. I have one in the other room. I have not put it on yet. We are finding the levels are a little bit different than blood, which is to be expected. It's measuring differently, and what you're really looking at is consistency and trends. I have a link for it down below. We are not with them at all. We don't make any money from them. They sent us one months ago. I had problems with the app before it even got launched on Indiegogo. It was nice to see him at KetoCon, and Rachel's been messing around with it a little bit. I do have a concern when it comes to the CKM, though, in that people will begin to chase ketone numbers.
Yes, and I mean, we're going to talk about that more in like our standalone video on it, but I think it's very important to be looking at, just like I say with food, when you're looking at how does food register and react, what do you see on a CGM? I like looking at where's my sleep on the CKM? What is going on when I'm in a stressful situation when it comes to my ketones? Where do I feel optimal? It's kind of like the tracking that we talk about. I like tracking, but what I like to do is not say like I'm tracking to get a number. I'm not chasing a number. Right now, like I will feel optimal and I'll be like, wow, I feel really great. Now let me go look at what number, where am I at? So that I'm kind of collecting.
That is where I think it's going to be good. But as far as like eating a food, like ketones don't change the same way glucose. Glucose is still the best thing to track. Tracking your glucose is always going to be the best thing to track. Where I do think that the continuous ketone monitor will help is with people who have maybe brain injuries, or you look at people like Dr. Palmer works with, where they're trying to have really high ketones for mental issues and things like that. I think that is where it's going to be helpful because they need to keep those super high ketones. But if you're trying to lose weight, high ketones don't mean more weight loss.
No.
And so it does concern me about that. So unless you really need to really be on point with high ketones, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It's just another data point. But if you have a tendency to chase numbers, don't chase ketones. Chase glucose.
Yeah.
You want to chase glucose numbers because that is more important. If you keep your glucose stable, it's always going to go up because, again, we talked about earlier, stressors. It's going to go up and down. But if you have consistent glucose for the most part during the day where you have the little blip because you were stressed and then it's pretty much always flatline, that's much more important than high ketone numbers.
Right.
One more. It is from Myra.
Hey, Myra. Life is like an unlabeled Keto Chow creamy pint. You never know what you're going to get. Chocolate? Mocha? Nope, it's peanut butter or chocolate peanut butter. Butter. I hope everyone is having a good day. The sun is out in Seattle, so ice cream for lunch it is.
It's
I
funny,
love that.
We don't label any of our creamies.
No.
It's always like, I don't know. What do you think this is going to be?
I'm never disappointed because we're never pouring into a creamy like taco. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't have to worry that it's going to be like beef broth.
I should do grape.
Yeah, because I wouldn't know until I like
know
eat
until
it.
you started eating it.
Man.
Well, that is going to be the end of today's Keto Beyond the Couch. Again, we are sorry we weren't able to do it live. Hopefully next week everything will get fixed. Now, if you like seeing videos like this, take a look at some of the videos we have linked right over there. Also, make sure you take a look at the most recent videos I'm going to put right over here.
But whether you head this way or you head this way, don't forget to head this way. Subscribe to our channel and click the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Until next time.
Bye.